We are here with Franklin and Marshall College. They just completed their NCAA semifinal matchup against Johns Hopkins University, defeating the Blue Jays 3-1 to advance to tomorrow's national championship game. On the podium, we have from Franklin and Marshall, Lily Minot and Colleen Francis, and head coach Caitlin Egger and her son, little George Egger. Congratulations on today's win. Coach, before we open it up for questions, your thoughts on today's game?
Well, I thought our team did a fantastic job today. We came in with a pretty clear game plan. We knew we wanted to score first in this game. That was one of our mindsets going in. The last two games, Hopkins has gone up quickly against us, so that was one of our focal points this week in practice. And then we just did a fantastic job moving the ball quickly, locating each other, putting the pressure on when we needed to. We know Hopkins is a fantastic team. They gave their heart out there. They played us tough every single game, so hats off to them. They had a fantastic season. But I couldn't be more proud of the effort that the team gave out there today, and we're really excited to be moving on to tomorrow.
Colleen, I'll start with you. The first quarter was almost 2 quarters within one, it seemed like. Coach talked about wanting to start strong and get that first goal. Right off the bat, you guys were taking it down onto Hopkins' defensive end, weren't able to finish. And it seemed like the second half of the first quarter, they had it down on your defensive end much of the time. Can you take me through the end of that first quarter when Hopkins had 4 consecutive penalty corners and you guys were able to keep them off the scoreboard? Can you take me through those moments?
Yeah, I think it's always really great, especially when we have so many corners in a row, to keep that mentality that, you know what, we're going to get this out of here. We have so much confidence in each other back there. My teammate Melissa is always there hyping us up right before the insert happens so that we have confidence. We know that they're excellent shooters. We've played them. This is our 3rd time this year, so we have been staring down those shooters earlier in the season. So we just know that, you know what, everybody's gonna do their job. I know everyone's gonna just do their job and do it well, and we had confidence that we were going to be able to figure it out.
Lily, you're obviously a big-time goal scorer. We know that, but scoreless in the first half, 0-0. Not that there weren't opportunities on both sides, but what was the difference in play between the first half and then early on in the second half when you and the Diplomats were able to find the back of the net a few times?
Well, we went into the second half not saying if we score, saying when we score. We had a game plan for just possessing the ball as much as we could, and I think we executed really well on that. And then after we had the first goal, we remembered to focus the whole time. We knew that Hopkins was going to come back with a lot of fire after the first and second goal. So we just told each other, stay focused, stay with your girl, stay with your mark. And I think like I said, we executed really well on that, and we kept them off of our defensive circle for as much as we could in the second half.
Coach, any message to the team at halftime after the first half of adjustments that you wanted to make that perhaps changed the way you played in the second half?
I think we were playing really well in the first half. I think I said to them at halftime, like, listen, continue to do what we're doing out there. As far as they're very good, like 1-2 touch passing team, so we just wanted to make sure we kept shifting to players on their transfer, making sure we were picking people up. So it wasn't too much of an adjustment, I think, from the first half to the second half for us. I thought, like I said, we were playing really well. It is more so just giving them the confidence, make sure we continue to play to our strengths in that second half, take those opportunities when we can in the offensive circle, which I think we capitalized on pretty well in that second half, which was great to see. And then, once that first goal goes in, it takes a little bit of pressure off for everyone. So I think that was helpful when we could get that first one in that second half.
Lily, you had 2 goals today, but it's the first goal that you weren't involved in that I want to get your perspective on. So it was it was a penalty corner play, and then I don't want to say it was a broken penalty corner, but you were off to the side there a little bit, and then Darby passed the ball back to Abby, and she struck the ball and it was deflected in. Can you take me through that play from your perspective and where you were at?
Well, it was kind of a whirlwind, but I try to just keep my eye on the ball, and while also I play the pads position on our corner, so I'm trying to direct the defender who's marking me away from the play to create space while also keeping my eye on the ball to get a deflection into the goal if I can. But in that moment, I think Abby made a really good decision, and she just took the shot for herself. And when the ball went in, I think I was in shock, and I kept saying, like, we can do this, we can do this. I'm like, oh my gosh, it just went in, and that gave us a lot of great energy going into the next moments of the game, just going in.
And just moments later, about 2 minutes later, you score again off another assist from Darby Klopp. This time she passes it from the right wing towards the left post, and you knock it in. It's easy a lot of times after you score a goal to kind of back up and play a little bit more defensively. What was the mindset of the team? What was the team saying to each other after that first goal? Was it a continue to attack mentality?
Well, like I said before, we really wanted to stay focused, and I think it's easy to kind of sit back and ease up a little bit defensively when you do have a goal or two up. So just staying focused, and we were pushing and we knew that we were so close so many times, and that it was just about to go in one of the times. So just keep pushing.
Shortly after that, Colleen, I'd be remiss if I didn't bring it up, the play where you got hit in the face with the ball. Take me through that play and describe what happened without the gory details, but what happened on that play?
It was just a case of bad luck, really. My teammate went around at a great time for a tackle, and unfortunately just kind of ramped off her stick a little bit, and I watched it coming, couldn't quite get out of the way. So I unfortunately had to go down to the turf. There was a little bit of blood, but nothing too scary, so I was able to get back in the game. We have great athletic trainers on staff, so they were able to get me ready to go back in pretty quickly, which I really appreciated.
Coach, what does that say about Colleen and the type of player she is and how tough she is to get back on the field so quickly after something like that happens?
Yeah, I think in a game like this, Colleen was like walking off and she said, if there wasn't any blood, I would have stayed. So it's pretty awesome to see. I mean, she's just such a huge part of our defensive communication back there, and she has so much experience. She's a 4-year starter for us, so I was like, we need her in there, we need her in there. We were trying everything we could to get everything cleaned up. But it just shows like the heart that we have and the support we have of each other on this team, and so I was really happy when she got to get back in there in that fourth quarter.
Colleen, I'll stick with you on this one. They say it's hard to beat the same team 3 times in a season, and that came true in this case. But how do you as a team keep from the doubts getting in your head of we're 0-2 against this team that we've seen twice already, including just 2 weeks ago in the conference championship? How do you keep those doubts from creeping into your mind into going into such an important game like this?
I think you just have to take them and turn them into positive thoughts. In the past 2 games that we played them, we may not have come out on top on the score, but we really felt like we stayed in the game with them, especially this last one. We felt, if we had 2 more minutes, then maybe we could have tied it up. So just keeping that in mind, that we may not have come out on top on the score, but we knew that we could play with this team because we have proved that the past 2 times that we played them.
Shifting over to the offensive side of the field here, Lily, give me a few seconds here. I need to reel off some statistics for you, okay? You're tied for 13th in the nation in scoring average at 1.11 goals per game. That's going to go up after today. 30 goals on the season. You've now broken the F&M single season goal scoring record set by Becky Willert in 2011. And you have more than double the amount of goals scored than any other player in the Centennial Conference. Talk to me about your offensive prowess and what makes you so dynamic on the offensive side of the field.
I think all 3 of our starting forwards and all of the forwards we have on our team are just so goal hungry. We are goal hungry in practice. We're goal hungry on the sideline. Like, we just anything we can do, sacrifice body to get it in the goal. And I think I have fantastic people by my side to put the ball in the exact right place for me. So I wouldn't be where I am without any of them. So that's what I can attest to.
Colleen, Johns Hopkins comes into this game 7th in the country in scoring average, scoring 3.67 goals per game. You held them to 1 goal today. How were you guys able to do that?
I think a lot of credit for that actually goes to kind of what Lily was just talking about. Yes, Johns Hopkins has absolutely one of the best forward lines in the country, but I'm very proud to say that I play on a team that has one of those as well. So, I'm kind of the one playing right back and Lily playing left forward. We kind of get matched up with each other at practice a lot. So being able to have that experience under my belt, that I have her coming at me during practice, our forward line really does a great job getting our defenders ready to face opposing forwards that are going to put the exact same amount of pressure on us, take the ball with the exact same amount of speed, and have that goal-hungry mentality. So it's really just a team effort all around to get everybody on the team ready for game day.
Coach, a familiar foe today that you've now seen 3 times in one season, as you've seen all these Centennial Conference schools so many times over the years. Can you talk a little bit about the Centennial Conference and the strength of the play that you see day in and day out, week in and week out throughout the season? How does that prepare you to get to this point of the season?
Yeah, it's pretty awesome. When I started as an assistant, 10 years ago now at F&M, I would say there was very much a top and the bottom to the Centennial Conference. You had your couple of schools at the top, schools at the bottom. Everyone else was kind of a mix. And then now we've had a bunch of changes in the conference. There's been a lot of coaching changes. And so every single game has really prepared us. All 10 teams had fantastic seasons. They played really well out of conference, which helps boost our strength of schedule. But we know in a conference game, they're always going to give their best effort against us. And you see it. We have 3 of the top teams, Ursinus, us, and Hopkins, 3 of the top teams in the country. They're all always in there. And then we have people like, Bryn Mawr, who turned their season around this year, and they were a fantastic team. And I think there's not that much parity between the top and the bottom anymore. So it's become really, really close. And to have that every single day or every single game, every 3 days we're playing one of them. There's 11 schools in our conference, which is huge compared to some other conferences that have 6 or 7. So it definitely really, really helps prepare us for this moment, prepare us for the postseason. And I'm really thankful that we get to represent the conference too, especially with 2 teams in the Final Four. That was such a good thing for our conference and for the nation to see how strong the Centennial can be, and to be able to put one of us in the national championship is an awesome thing to see as well.
Lily, just 2 weeks ago, you guys had to wait around and hope for an at-large bid into the NCAAs. I'm sure you felt fairly confident that you would get one, but there's only a limited number of spots. So you weren't even sure you were going to make the tournament after falling in the Centennial Conference Championship game, and now here you are in the National Championship. When I put it like that, what does it mean to you to be in the National Championship game tomorrow?
It's magical. I feel like that's really all I can say, because I was sitting in my bed when the bracket came out, and 1 second it wasn't there, and the next second it was, and we were in the tournament. And I think I even said on the sideline today after the game, these past 3 weeks have been a dream. It's just magic.
Colleen, what will you do tonight to get prepared for tomorrow's game? Maybe you haven't thought that far ahead yet, but what are you going to do tonight?
I think there'll be lots of rest for everybody on the team. We had a lot of people that got a lot of minutes today, so we'll just go back to the hotel, get our legs up, make sure we're getting ready, but probably also watching a little bit of the next game to see who we're going to be facing, getting on the film, doing some studying, and then, of course, we're still student athletes, so I have a paper due at midnight, so I'll be working on that for a little bit as well.
That's a typical answer I would expect to hear at a Division III press conference. That's great. Coach, F&M is no stranger to the NCAA tournament. You've made 13 appearances, 5 semifinal appearances, now your 2nd appearance in the NCAA finals tomorrow. Anybody know what year that was, the last time the Diplomats were in the finals? 1981. Great job. Yeah. 1981, you know it, yeah. So it's been 38 years since Franklin and Marshall has been in the national championship game. Can you describe that feeling for me?
It's just awesome. Just super proud of this group. We're a family. I think we showed out there. We always talk about the support we have for one another. Definitely magical, I think, is a good word to describe it. As well, and this is what we work hard all season for, every day pushing each other in practice, taking one game at a time for sure, making sure we're not looking too far ahead, focusing on that next opponent, and then just to be able to be in Lancaster and be able to play in front of a home crowd. I think that was pretty awesome today. Definitely helped our girls in the support, and to have all our families there. So we're really excited to represent the conference and represent Lancaster and be here and on the home field kind of feel for us. So we're just super excited.
Lily and Colleen, I'd like you both to answer this. Coach mentioned the great crowd that you had there today. The energy was, you could really feel it out there. I think there were over 200 student tickets that were bought in advance for this event. What's it like being so close to your campus, but still being away from campus and having that kind of home field advantage almost out there? That's for both of you, so whoever wants to go first.
Yeah, I think like you said, it's definitely an advantage to be able to look out and see so many familiar faces and have crazy chants be going on during the game. We were a little nervous about it going into it, that it would be a distraction, but it ended up being just what we needed to give us the spark and give us the energy throughout the whole game.
How about it from your perspective, Colleen?
I thought it was great, especially since the last 2 games that we have played against Hopkins, we've had to go down to Baltimore, so we've been in front of their home crowd. So it's just kind of a little bit of a different feeling knowing that we had so many people out there that made the short journey to come here to support us. So it was just great to hear that in the background, and it's just great support from the campus community.
Any other questions for the group?
I'll open up to all three of you. Obviously, you mentioned before that Hopkins is obviously a familiar opponent for you. How much, you don't really need the motivation on this stage, how much of a motivation was it seeing them the third time to get that win finally?
I mean, I think everyone knows how good revenge feels, so we wanted that feeling.
And just kind of like I said, we knew that we had been so close before so to kind of turn the table a little bit and be able to come out on top this time, it's just a great feeling, and to do it on this stage just kind of makes it even better.
Okay, great. Well, best of luck tomorrow. We will see you back here. I hope you get your rest and do well on your paper, and enjoy the rest of the night. Thank you.
Thank you.
I'm freezing.
I am too. Oh, okay. So you're shaking too?
Yeah.